The Krell king Vorgath had ruled his empire for 200 years through fear and absolute authority. He commanded trillions of soldiers, controlled thousands of worlds, and had never known defeat. When the human diplomatic envoy arrived at his palace, he saw it as an opportunity rather than a negotiation. The envoy was a woman named Katya Volkova. She was middle-aged by human standards, with weathered features and eyes that had seen too much. She wore simple diplomatic robes and carried no weapons. According to the Krell intelligence reports, she was a retired military officer turned diplomat. Nothing remarkable. Nothing threatening. King Vorgath decided to kill her. It seemed efficient. The human species had been growing increasingly influential in galactic politics. Eliminating their lead diplomat would send a message: the Krell bowed to no one. It would demoralize humanity. It would demonstrate Krell's superiority. The plan was simple and, in his mind, foolproof. He invited her to a private audience in his throne room. Katya entered alone, as protocol dictated. The massive doors sealed behind her. Vorgath sat upon his throne, his 4 arms crossed in a posture of supreme authority. Around them, his elite guard stood motionless, warriors bred for 3,000 years to be killing machines. Ambassador Volkova, Vorgath began, his voice carrying the weight of absolute power. I have decided the Krell Empire will not negotiate with humanity. In fact, I have decided that humanity requires culling. He gestured, and the guards moved forward, weapons raised. Katya didn't move. She didn't raise her hands. She didn't beg or plead. Instead, she smiled, a small, sad expression that suggested she had seen this exact scenario countless times before. Do you know what they call me on Earth? She asked quietly. Vorgath paused, confused by her tone. Your designation is irrelevant. They call me Baba Yaga, Katya continued, stepping forward calmly as guards advanced. In human folklore, she is a figure of terror. A woman who cannot be killed by conventional means. A woman who has survived empires. A woman who has seen civilizations rise and fall and learned from all of them. She took another step. The guards hesitated, unsure why the king had not yet ordered her execution. I was born on Earth 347 years ago, Katya said, her voice steady and hypnotic. I have lived through wars that destroyed continents. I have trained with warriors from every species in this galaxy. I have killed more beings than you have ruled worlds. And I have never, not once, met an enemy I could not overcome. Vorgath stood from his throne. Execute her. The guards attacked. What happened next would be studied by military historians for centuries. Katya moved with the fluid grace of someone who had spent 3 centuries perfecting combat. She didn't fight like a human. She fought like something far older, far more dangerous, something that had learned from every species, every fighting style, every tactical approach ever created. She broke the first guard's arm with a technique borrowed from Xynthian bone-breaking tactics. She threw the second guard using Valyrian momentum reversal methods. She disarmed the third using helix pressure point strikes that took advantage of alien physiology. Each movement was economical, precise, devastating. Within 30 seconds, all 12 elite guards lay unconscious or broken on the throne room floor. Vorgath stared in horror. No one had ever moved that fast. No one had ever overcome his guard. Katya walked toward him slowly, deliberately. I am a diplomat, she said, because I have learned that conversation is preferable to violence. I represent humanity because my species values negotiation over conquest. But understand this, King Vorgath, I am also something else. I am the embodiment of every human warrior that ever lived. I carry their skills, their knowledge, their fury. She reached the throne. Vorgath, for the first time in 200 years, felt fear. You tried to kill me, Katya said quietly. You failed. Now, we have a choice. You can attempt to have me killed again, and I will systematically destroy your entire empire. Not quickly. Not mercifully. But thoroughly. I will teach every warrior in your army what it means to face someone who has already won before the battle began. She paused, letting the words settle. Or, she continued, you can negotiate with humanity. You can learn that there are forces in this galaxy more powerful than fear. You can discover that cooperation creates more strength than conquest ever will. Vorgath, still trembling, found himself nodding. He called off his assassins. He opened diplomatic channels with humanity. The news spread through the galaxy. A human woman had walked into the lair of the Krell king and walked out with a peace treaty. The legend of Katia Volkova grew with each retelling. Some said she had fought 50 guards. Some said she had moved faster than light. Some said she was immortal. The truth was far simpler and far more profound: she was human. She had survived. She had learned. She had overcome. And in doing so, she had taught the galaxy a lesson they would never forget. On Earth, the new generation of human diplomats studied her methods. They learned that the greatest strength came not from weapons, but from knowledge accumulated through surviving impossible circumstances. They learned that 300 years of experience could accomplish what no army ever could. And they learned the most important lesson of all: the Baba Yaga was real. She walked among them. And she always won. Kindly like this story, drop your comment and subscribe channel. Thank you.